Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesdays with Wendy, where we make small business ownership less stressful, one step at a time. All right, today we are continuing our series on 1099s. So, picture it. You haven't been to the mailbox in a few days because the mail hasn't come. Why has the mail not come? Because there's been snow on the ground and ice, and the trucks can't get through. So, after several days of sitting in your house, trying to stay warm and doing all the snow things, or not, maybe just curled up under a blanket on your couch. That's not so bad either. You finally get up the courage to locate your boots, put them on, strap them up, find your coat, wrap it around you, and you trudge out to the mailbox through a lot of snow. And also thinking, man, these boots aren't as tall as I thought. There's snow in my foot now. Anyway, you get to the mailbox and you open it up, and there is a letter. It says, important tax document enclosed. And you think, oh, that's weird. What's this? So once you get back inside, take off your coat, your gloves, all that stuff, you actually open it up. Inside is a 1099. What is a 1099? What do I do with this? Help. What do I do? I don't know. Well, short answer, you have to report that on your taxes. For the longer answer, stick around and I'll tell you. My name is Wendy Kane. I'm the owner of Kane Accounting and Financial Coaching. I do bookkeeping and payroll for independent contractors and small businesses so that you can have peace at tax time and throughout the rest of the year. Okay, so you have opened this envelope. It says 1099, has your name on it, your social security number, and an amount. Okay, first of all, as with all communications involving taxes, don't panic. We can handle this. We know what to do. Okay, um, so before we get into too many details, let me mention one thing. There are a lot of different types of Form 1099. I'm not kidding, 30, 40, at least 20. There's different, you can get a 1099 for a bunch of things. The 1099 I am talking about today is the NEC, which stands for non-employee compensation. This is the form you get if you do contract work, if you are self-employed, if you own a business. This is the form that some of your customers are required to send you. Okay. And we've gone through, the last few weeks on, do I have to send them? Why do I have to send them? How do I send them? All that stuff. You can go back on the January videos on YouTube and search and watch any of those if you want. Okay, so what do you do though? Somebody sent you a 1099 and now you've got to do something with it. Okay, so short answer, you must report it on your taxes. So number one, do not ignore it. You cannot ignore this form and this amount. You have to do something with it. Okay, the longer answer, it must go on your taxes. So if you are a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, that amount that shows up on the form has to be reported on your Schedule C, which is the schedule on your tax return where you report your business income and expenses. All right. So that's the bad news. That's the news. Okay. The good news is if you are self employed, you get to deduct your expenses against that income. So if somebody sends you a 1099 and says, hey, I paid them $10,000 last year. Okay. Well, if it cost you $3,000 to make that 10,000, you get to subtract that. So you're only going to pay tax on 7,000. Okay. So if you're self employed, you do get to deduct certain expenses against that income. If you are an S corporation or a partnership, the 1099 amount still has to go on your tax return, but it's probably going to be lumped in with your total sales for the year. And actually, that's the case in single member LLC and sole proprietor as well. So, um, that brings me to my next point. So you've got to report that $10,000, let's say. Okay, well, if you are a good, studious business owner, you're keeping track of your transactions keeping up with your bookkeeping throughout the year. Okay. So you've got all of your information and you know you did more work than that. Some people you did say $500 worth of work for, and the 1099 threshold is 600. So they didn't send you a 1099, but guess what? You still have to report that $500 they paid you. You don't get to skip out on reporting income just because you didn't get a 1099 for it. That is a common misconception and it is inherently wrong. And the IRS will come after you for that if you don't report all of your income. Okay, so that is what we're going for here. You need to make sure you have reported all of your income, which brings me to my third point. As long as your income on either your Schedule C, if you're a sole proprietor, single member LLC, or the business tax return for your S Corp or partnership, as long as the amount of income you report there is greater than or equal to, this sounds like math class, the amount reported on 1099s, you are good. If the total of the 1099s you get is $56,000 and you report $70,000 as your income, perfect. The IRS will know that you have reported all of your income. Problem happens if the 1099s you get add up to $56,000 and you report 46,000 as total income. Their computers are going to flag your return. You're going to get a letter in the mail. You will get a paper audit. I don't know the full process, but trust me, someone will take notice and then you will have a problem. So the short answer, it must be reported on your tax return. The longer answer, make sure not only that amount, but all the income that you earned are reported on your tax return. And good news, you're self-employed, you're a business. You can deduct any amounts that took you to earn that income. So you don't pay tax on that full amount. You pay tax on the full amount minus your expenses. That's the net amount, your net income that you pay tax on. All right. So that is the short but long the short long answer of what to do if you get a 1099. If you are not sure and you get one and you still don't know, reach out to your tax preparer. They can help you figure out where it should go. All right. That is it for this week. Remember, no one is born knowing how to do this, and it is not taught in school. If you're feeling lost and overwhelmed, you are not alone. Go to my website and sign up for my newsletter for more tips like this. Book a free consultation if you have questions, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.